Hello everyone, this is Karim Fahmi. I'm an Azure Solutions Architect. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, one of our topics that we are continuing through our Azure architecture journey. And this topic is the Azure Virtual WAN. So Azure Virtual WAN is kind of like a normal WAN that you already know about, the normal WANs that you implement on premises and then you extend it to your all over network. But this time is natively on Azure, which is really interesting. So what actually Azure provides you with this feature or this product? So, or maybe we can say service. Azure Virtual WAN actually extends the network capabilities. So for example, if you have like connections from your on-premises to Azure, and then you have another branch for your company, or even you want to extend the connection for your customers or for maybe partners, whoever you want to connect to your network all over the world. So Microsoft provide you with this service, which is called the Azure Virtual WAN. And before we start the demo, because the demo actually I'm gonna explain, it's not gonna be one episode, but multiple parts. And today we're gonna start with part 1, and next part 2, part 3, until we finish the whole features of the Azure Virtual WAN, because it's really important and we need to focus on each one so you can benefit from what it have from features and capabilities, and also constraints before you use it in your projects. Not to get stuck in the middle of the project and then you find, oh, I thought that it was doing this and that. So we are going to explore this together, and it will help you in your future while you are planning for your network extensions. So let's start I'm going to show you something about the architecture first, then we start do our demo. Okay, let's go. So after opening the documentation from Microsoft about the Azure Virtual WAN, here, Azure Virtual WAN, so you're gonna find this diagram. So this diagram actually tells you what the Azure Virtual WAN looks like and the features. So if we can see together, here's the diagram, and down there you can find the endpoints or the branches that is gonna connect to Azure. For example, the HQ, which is the headquarter, and DC data center, and the branches that you have, and even your remote users. And each one of them is gonna do a connection to the Azure Virtual WAN, maybe as express route or site-to-site VPN or even point-to-site. And also the Azure Virtual WAN can connect virtual networks to it as a peering. Okay, so one more thing about this part before I start the demo. The Azure Virtual WAN is one of the best practice to implement the hub and spoke on a large scale. So after doing this part, you're gonna find maybe I won't talk about it this time, but maybe later in the next episodes about hub and hub connection and two regions and bigger scaler. Okay, so in the meantime, just a little imagination about the Virtual WAN. Virtual WAN is nothing except a virtual network, but a very big one. It's really big, and it also do much. I mean, it extends your network capabilities on Azure on large scale. If you want to have much more capabilities from the perspective of scalability. Okay, so let's move to the demo now. Okay, so first of all, for sure, everybody knows that you have to create your resource groups. So I have two resource groups that already created here. So W means West Europe and North Europe. So West Europe, I just created inside it my virtual WAN, the Azure Virtual WAN resource. And also I created a virtual network. And this virtual network I created with an address space, just to note it. So I named it VNet West, EU means West Europe, and with this address space. And if we go to the other virtual network in the other resource group, which is here, so I name it VNet North EU, and I gave it address space 10.100/24. Okay, then let's move to our part. So how to create the Azure Virtual WAN? Then I'm gonna go into the steps quickly to show you. So you start to add here, and you have to search for WAN. Then you're gonna get Azure Virtual WAN. Then create easily. Then choose the resource group that you wanna deploy inside. Doesn't matter anyone. And then the resource group location. So I chose West Europe, and then put a name for it. Then you choose between standard and basic. If you choose basic, you will lose a lot of capabilities from the Azure Virtual WAN. The branch-to-branch connections and hub-to-hub mesh connections is not gonna be there. So it's better to use the standard rather than the basic. If you want only to check it without paying so much money, so you can check the basic first. Okay. But you won't be able to test the features that that is inside the standard type. Okay, then you put the name here, and then review and create. Okay, so I did this, and it already created the vWAN Azure Virtual WAN. Okay, so after you create this, so it will get you something like what you see now on the screen. Then on the left plate, you're gonna find here the configurations and everything. And in the connectivity, so let's see what's this. So the connectivity have different types that you can configure. First of all, you have the hub. So Azure Virtual WAN is the resource, and inside the resource, you can create the hubs. Okay, so what is a hub? So a hub is coming from the same concept of a hub and spoke, which is the central place of the connections. And it's kind of like the transitive network for different networks. So it's kind of like the transition, or maybe transitive network, transition gateway, whatever you want to name it. But it's kind of like the transitive part. Okay, quickly. So you already go here and create whatever you want. So for example, I want to create a new hub here. Then I'm gonna choose whatever region. So you can choose whatever regions you want and name it. And so the hub private IP address, you have to take care each address space between the VNets and the hubs, and everything should be unique. You shouldn't do a redundancy ever. Okay, they should not overlap. By the way, when we are creating a hub with a gateway, it will take 30 minutes. Okay, what does it mean? So if you created a gateway inside it, so it will take 30 minutes, like VPN gateway or whatever. Okay, then we put a name, whatever, and then you put your IP. I'm just putting anything, just I want to show you how it will look like, the steps, because it's really important to see it. Okay, then the next here, so it asks you here in the second point, if you want to create a site-to-site VPN gateway, what does it mean? So as we see in here, so when you create your virtual network here, the Azure Virtual WAN, you can create inside it the gateways. Why? Because to make it ready if anybody wants to connect through ExpressRoute to the WAN, or he wants to connect to site-to-site VPN. So the gateways are already created inside the virtual WAN. So it asks you if you want to create it from here rather than after, in order to save time. And also you configure each one. So you configure the site-to-site, the point-to-site, the express routes, and everything, even the tagging. And then you review and create. I didn't create any of those. I just created the normal. Then I created one for the west, and I created one for the north. Okay, with different address space as you see, 122 and 133/16/16. Okay, what's next? So I open here. What I'm gonna do now? in the West EU hub, you have the connectivities. What is gonna connect to it? Is it a site-side VPN or express route or user VPN point site or whatever? Okay, so we don't have any of those to configure because I'm not doing this at that time. But we can return back here to the Azure Virtual WAN and we can configure the virtual network connections, which is this part. Again, so this part that we are configuring now, the peering here from the virtual networks to the WAN. Okay, so take care, because if the virtual networks are in different regions from the hub, there will be extra charges. Okay, extra charges. All have charges, but this will be extra. So you have to ensure that if you create the West EU hub, you have to create with it the West Europe hub. So you have to create with it the West virtual networks and so on. So I'll enter here and then I'm gonna open here virtual network connections and add a connection. Then it will ask me where do you want to add a connection. So here if you see that some functionalities may not be accessible at the current time as it is currently being rolled out and expected to complete in week of August 3rd. So they are continuing to improve the service itself. So okay, I'm gonna make a connection from the West EU hub to a virtual network in the West Europe. So I'm gonna make it West hub to VNet WWE, which is West Europe. Then I'm going to choose the West and the resource group West, network West, then create, then adding peering. So it's much more easier than ever. Then we can do the same, add another connection, make it North Europe hub to VNet North Europe 01, for example. So I'm doing the same for the north, and here, and virtual network north, and create. I'm showing you how easy it is. So it's gonna take time for the peering updating one. Gonna see here, it's doing everything automatically without your intervention, which is awesome. Much more easier than the old ways of doing VNet peering, but now it's much more easier. Okay, so we're still waiting. Okay, so we have finished this, and then as you see, succeeded. Now each one have appeared virtual network together. So the North hub have virtual network, and the West hub also have virtual network peered. So both have virtual network peered. Then we return back here to the overview, and then you're gonna find this. As you see, this branch to branch is already enabled. So we can go to the configuration here, and you see the virtual WAN type. Basic virtual WAN support site-side connectivity, branch to branch, and branch to VNet in a single hub. Okay, but if you use the standard virtual WAN supports any-to-any, site-to-site, VPN, express routes, point-to-point, point-to-site, and points in single hub, as well as across, so across different hubs, which is one of the good things. So, and those are the nodes, you can take care about it. So yeah, as hubs in basic virtual network are not connected to each other. That's what I was talking about. You'll need to upgrade to WAN type standard. So I think, I'm sorry, I missed something because I think I said that branch to branch is not enabled. No, it's enabled in the basic virtual WAN. It supports the branch to branch and the branch to VNet, but it does not support the basic virtual WAN are not connected to each other. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the demo today. and stay tuned for the next parts for the Azure Virtual WAN. So the next coming episodes for the Azure Virtual WAN, we're gonna go more deep and including virtual machines, connections, and even till we reach the secured hub, which is the latest feature from the Azure Virtual WAN. I didn't experience yet, but let's do it together and see how it looks like live. Thank you guys, and see you next time. Stay positive, stay tuned. Have a nice week. Goodbye.